Hello everyone! I hope each and every one of you is having an exceptionally nerdy weekend. If not, you've 100% definitely come to the right place. Today we're going to be discussing Batman and what the future of the Caped Crusader could look like in James Gunn's larger DC universe. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Starting off, I just want to say that this isn't going to be a fan casting video. I'm not really concerned with whoever is going to be the next Batman. Personally, I don't really care who the next Batman is. I mean, obviously, I don't want it to be someone like Jonah Hill. No offense to Jonah. But to me, unofficial casting doesn't really make for a great video. It doesn't really make for great speculation either. And most importantly, it doesn't really get me excited for the next Batman film. And that's not really what this video is going to be. Instead, we're going to focus on the tone of the DCU going forward. But most importantly, what DC has in store for the Batman mythos. But the answer of what will come actually lies in the past, starting with Christopher Nolan. Even though there is a level of realism to Batman, before Christopher Nolan, there was always a level of obscurity to him as well. You see, comics impose what I call a sense of false realism. No matter who it is, every character always starts off with an ability that is inherently impossible. And from that impossibility, pseudo-rationale is applied. Why does Superman fly? Well, the sun, of course. Why is the Flash so fast? Easy. He was struck by a bolt of lightning. Why is Batman able to achieve what no other human being possibly can? Quick answer: protein shakes and money. You see what I mean? It's all nonsensical. For the most part, these stories were just signs of the times. Giant pennies, robot dinosaurs, literal fucking vampires. This obscurity that is lined all throughout comic books helps maintain and rationalize every character's presence and survival within them, including Batman. Obscure situations call for obscure characters, and obscure characters call for obscure solutions. From superpowered zombies to extra-dimensional alien invaders, in order for Batman to survive in the DC universe, the brunt of what he can do has to be exaggerated, or else Batman would just end up as a smear on everyone's shoe. When Christopher Nolan got his hands on Batman, he wanted to set out and do something that had never really been done before. He wanted to create a Batman with a strong sense of realism. He wanted to create a Batman that you could believe in. There's no doubt that the Dark Knight trilogy is damn near perfect. Christopher Nolan didn't set out to make a superhero movie when he took on Batman. He set out to create a goddamn motherfucking masterpiece from beginning to end. And don't get me wrong, this isn't a Christopher Nolan bashing video. Hopefully this video doesn't hurt his feelings while he's running on his treadmill one day. But in my opinion, that's not to say that Christopher Nolan's legacy on The Dark Knight may have led to some unforeseen consequences on the legend of Batman himself, starting with the Superman effect. For those of you who don't know what the Superman effect is, I'll explain it to you. The Superman effect is a phrase that was coined after Nolan's Batman films. The idea behind it is deciding whether or not a Batman is fit or capable for a larger DC universe. Let's use Christopher Nolan's Batman as a starting example. Think about every detail of those movies, what this Batman was capable of, and what he was able to accomplish. But more importantly, what his limitations were. Now, throw Superman in there. Do you believe wholeheartedly that Christian Bale's Batman could stand next to and stand equal to a version of Superman? Do you believe that superpowers could exist in Nolan's universe at all? Do you think aliens are real? Not only that, but could any of it, any of what I just listed, make any sense whatsoever in Nolan's Batman? Most of you are probably saying no, and that's probably the correct answer. Bale's Batman was rooted in this idea that he could exist, but from that intense realism, none of the obscurity from the comics could exist with him. That's why any supernatural or fantasy elements from Batman, such as Ra's al Ghul and Bane were removed entirely from Nolan's universe. And as great as that works for Nolan and what he did, a realistic Batman doesn't really work for a larger DC universe. Which now brings us to Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson's Batman. I definitely have my gripes about both of these Batman. If I'm being honest with you guys, I absolutely hate 2021, The Batman by Matt Reeves. I don't want to get into too much detail as to why I hate these films, since it's not really what today's topic is about. But I still feel like Batman movies and Batman directors kind of make this mistake when they approach the character. But the main reason as to why I hate or struggle to like these two Batman at times is it feels like both of them are chasing the success of Christopher Nolan and are more or less just kind of using the Batman universe as a source of Oscar bait. You know, you had everyone and their mother trying so fucking hard to turn these characters into some grand record-breaking movie, and it's just so obnoxiously obvious that it just kills it a lot of the time for me. You know, after following in the footsteps of Christopher Nolan, this is kind of a problem that was popping up every now and again with the early stages of the Snyderverse, specifically Ben Affleck's Batman. I think the main problem with Ben Affleck's Batman is that they didn't know whether or not they wanted him more grounded in realism or they wanted to lean more into his obscurity. There was an overwhelming inconsistency with Ben Affleck's Batman. In some movies, Ben Affleck is capable of taking on the likes of Superman and Doomsday. In others, he can barely hold his own against the likes of Steppenwolf and random-ass fucking parademons. But then just a few movies later, he's getting whipped around on his grapple gun, slamming into buildings and cars like it's nothing. DC truly didn't know what they wanted Ben Affleck to be. But for Robert Pattinson, it seems like DC wanted to go back and give a portrayal more akin to The Dark Knight, something we could see living in the real world. Now here's where DC's genius can really come shining through. The interesting thing about Batman is, no matter which way you take him, it will always seem to work. If you want a dark, gritty Batman akin to Christopher Nolan's, it works. If you want a fun, goofy Batman like Adam West, it works. Technically, there really is no right or wrong answer to Batman. Batman has a multitude of personas to choose from, which can't really be said for the likes of other characters like Superman or Wonder Woman or The Flash. If you take a character like Superman and make him dark, it has to fit the story. Why would Superman be dark? But Batman, you can make Batman bright and optimistic and goofy without any real explanation, and fans will just accept it. With these different Batman personas changing series by series, the only problem the DCU has going forward is that everybody has their own Batman. But it's a problem DC has maybe solved. With James Gunn announcing the planned slate of movies and TV shows under DC a little over a year ago, one of the more interesting tidbits from his press conference was the future of Batman. In the next 10 years, we will have two Batmen simultaneously sharing the big screen together. One will take the form of Robert Pattinson as he continues his journey through Matt Reeves' ongoing The Batman universe. The other will be the real Batman, the main Batman, the DCU Batman, who will first arrive to us in 2025's Batman, the Brave and the Bold. Now, this is why having two Batmen is interesting. As we know, Robert Pattinson follows the nuanced, more modern version of Batman, a real Batman, a dark Batman. And you can't help but wonder, how can DCU Batman hope to find any independence? Wouldn't he just feel like an older version of Robert Pattinson? But this is where you have to pay attention. You see, the title of the DCU's Batman film tells us everything we need to know about our new Batman and how he stands tall and unique alongside other Batmen. You see, some of you may have heard the phrase Brave and the Bold before. This is a name that rose to prominence in 2012 with the TV show of the same name, Batman, the Brave and the Bold. I don't know if it's just me, but is it weird that these movies are just stealing away the names of these old TV shows? I mean, you have like Matt Reeves, the Batman, and now you have James Gunn with the Brave and the Bold. Like, is it just me? Is that weird? Yes, no, maybe, kinda, sorta? Well, anyways, Brave and the Bold is a term that has been used to describe a specific era in comics, more specifically, an era of Batman comics. These comics go back to about the early to mid 50s, all the way to the early to mid 70s. This was a time when Batman was more or less a wacky and zany character. This was a Batman who was more lighthearted, a Batman who found peace in his life, mostly due to having a newfound love and happiness as a parent with the first appearance of Robin. On top of that, we know for a fact that Robin is supposed to have a major role in the DCU Batman film. The original Brave and the Bold from the comic books explored Batman's existence in the larger DC universe. Not only his role as a superhero, but as a father and mentor to Robin, as the two often fought their way through the entire DC mythos. These were wackier tales of adventure. Batman putting on a rainbow and zebra outfits, being launched from giant pennies, to fighting thawed-out cavemen, all of which was already adapted in 2012's Batman the Brave and the Bold. Now, do I think DCU Batman will be wearing bat nips while flaunting around his Bat credit card? No, I don't. But by marking this film down with that Brave and the Bold title, clearly tells us what this film is drawing from. We know James Gunn is all about legacy. Superman Legacy is all about this, as it explores Superman's legacy in the larger DCU, with every character and their mother making an appearance. Now, I don't think the next Batman the Brave and the Bold film will be quite as cameo heavy as Superman Legacy is, but it's clear the DCU wants to dive deeper into that larger Batman lore. They want to get to the parts of Batman they've never really been able to dive deeper into. That zaniness that's never really been done before. More importantly, we've never really gotten the opportunity to see what Batman's legacy is on Gotham City. And that's what the Brave and the Bold partially seems to be. Legacy. On top of that, this Batman has the opportunity to do what no film Batman has ever really been able to accomplish, and that's the ability to stand next to Superman. If done right, DCU Batman has the ability to face demigods and monsters and be their equal. I think this allows us to explore a side of Batman and really a side of Gotham City that we've never really been able to see before. If we have a more obscure Batman, a Batman where the line between realism and fantasy can be slightly blurred, this leaves the door open for more of Batman's more ridiculous rogues gallery to appear. The movies have usually tended to play it safe when using Batman's rogues gallery. Joker, Two-Face, Bane, Penguin, they're cool and all, but I want to see a 6'9" man-eating Killer Croc. I don't want to see whatever this bullshit right here was. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of playing it safe. I want more fantasy in my Batman. I want the monstrous goo puddle that is Clayface to just fuck some shit up for once. I want to see Poison Ivy just use her vines to lift Gotham and have the entire city at her mercy. I want those more fantasy elements. And I think we have a really great opportunity to break away here. I think we have a really great opportunity to explore the larger Batman mythos that we've never really been able to get into before. And for the first time, I think we have the opportunity to bring the pages of Batman comics to life. And just like that, DC answers the age-old question. How do we appeal to everyone? We give everyone exactly what they want. On one hand, we deliver a real, dark, nitty-gritty Batman experience, while on the other, deliver a fresh Batman that can exist within the fantasy world of the DC universe. But that's pretty much it. That's kind of all I really have to say. I hope you guys liked listening to my little rant on what I think the future holds for Batman. But yep, that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys in the next one.